It's striking how some artists, they just burn so brightly, but for such a short time, and yet their music, their impact, it just stays with us forever, really. Today we're diving into one of those figures, the truly enigmatic Jeff Buckley. There's this enduring fascination with his music, his story. It just keeps captivating people. And there's some really exciting news now, something that promises maybe some new light on his life. We're talking about a new documentary. It's called It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley. And it's directed by Amy Berg, who, she's an Oscar nominee. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah. And what's fascinating here is how this film might bring us closer to understanding someone whose story has always had this kind of, mystery around it, even if you know his music really well. Amy Berg, she actually talked about this on CBS Mornings Plus, I think. She said the documentary covers his incredible rise in the 1990s, sort of captures that whole journey, his life, right up until his tragic death in 1997. He was only 30. So our mission here in this deep dive is really to pull out the key insights for you, help you get a quick handle on what this new film is offering, what new perspectives we might get on Buckley's life and his legacy.
Right, so it's not just looking back. It sounds like it's trying to go maybe a bit deeper than what we thought we knew.
Yeah.
What are some of those key insights, the things the documentary is apparently bringing out?
Absolutely. And one of the really compelling things, based on what Berg's been saying, is the access she got.
Yeah.
Just unprecedented. The film apparently has just tons of unseen stuff. Archival footage, personal notes even, rare photos, and get this, some unreleased demo tracks.
Well, demos.
Yeah. So it lets us see his creative process much more directly, a really intimate look at how he actually put together those amazing soundscapes, those lyrics. For instance, apparently the documentary shows how meticulous he was, layering his vocals on demos, like a kind of sonic architecture. It goes way beyond the polished versions we all know.
That is incredible. I mean, hearing the final album is one thing, but seeing the rough sketches, the development, especially for an artist like Buckley, his sound was so distinct. That really is a deep dive into his genius, right?
Yeah.
Does the film get into specific moments or, influences that shaped him?
It does. And that's where it gets really interesting, I think, for the serious fans. It apparently highlights his performances at Sin-é, that tiny coffee shop.
Oh, yeah, in the East Village.
Yeah.
Legendary spot.
Exactly. Which somehow became his launch pad. It's amazing.
Berg's film supposedly shows rare footage from those early gigs.
Yes.
Captures that raw energy, the improvisation, the stuff that first got everyone's attention. Record labels, too. And it looks into his influences. His tastes were so broad, from Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan all the way to Led Zeppelin, and how that all sort of fused together in his singing and his guitar playing. It also seems to touch on his guitar work, like the open tunings he used, which was, pretty crucial for those big soaring sounds that became his signature.
So it's really getting into the nuts and bolts, the how and why of his art, not just a timeline. What about the man himself, beyond the music? Does the film offer fresh takes on his personality or the struggles he might have faced? It definitely seems to aim for that. Yeah. What sounds particularly revealing is how the film deals with the pressure he was under. After Grace blew up, suddenly being thrust into the spotlight, Berg apparently uses a mix of things, never before heard interviews with close friends, collaborators, plus his own writings, his personal stuff, to try and paint a more nuanced picture.
Yep.
His sensitive side, maybe that restless spirit people talked about.
So more human?
Exactly. Trying to get beyond the myth a bit. Understand the young guy dealing with all that fame, the expectation. And also reportedly looks at his relationship with his father, Tim Buckley, how that legacy maybe inspired him, but also maybe complicated things for him, his own journey, but without being too, heavy-handed about interpreting it.
Right. It sounds like Amy Berg's really aiming for a more complete picture, maybe more vulnerable. So just to kind of recap where we've been today, we've looked at this significant news, this new documentary, It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley. Directed by the acclaimed Amy Berg, Oscar nominated. And its focus is really on Buckley's rise in the 90s, offering these new insights into, like you said, his creative process, those key early shows, Sin-é, and also the personal pressures he was under before his really untimely death in 1997.
And this raises an important question. Why? Why do certain artists, Jeff Buckley being a prime example, artists whose careers were cut so tragically short, why do they keep captivating us? Why do they inspire new work like this documentary decades later? Makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe an unfinished story resonates more sometimes because it leaves so much room for us, for imagination. What lessons or maybe just insights can we actually get from looking again at these lives, these really influential figures, through a fresh lens all these years later? What's there for us now?
That's a really profound point. Yeah. There's definitely something compelling about those who, leave us wanting more, isn't there? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
And yeah, we definitely encourage you to explore more on your own.